everybody, welcome to episode 25 of We're Not to Miss with Chris. My goal is to put out quick, relevant content that explains the why behind the what in order to positively impact the freight community. Now, in today's episode, we're going to talk about the current driver shortage, debate, and whether or not adding tens of thousands of drivers into the current truckload market will alleviate some of the supply chain bottlenecks we've been experiencing over the past year or not. Now, as we've talked about in past episodes, the problems we've been facing over the past 16 months have not been just supply related, but demand related as well. This is one of the fundamental differences between the 2018 capacity shortage and our current environment. You can see the difference in the data depicted as rejections spiked in 18, while imports remained relatively flat, ultimately causing an overcorrection towards the end of the year, lasting until the start of the pandemic, when both imports and rejections skyrocketed. Now, unfortunately, before the increase, huge round of layoffs and resignations began as the fear of the unknown plagued unemployment back at the end of March last year. This, however, for the truck transportation sector was short-lived as consumer demand quickly rebounded, although in between that time period, many found employment outside of the trucking realm, which helped kickstart the shift from a shipper market to a carrier's market. Now, since summer, truck transportation employment overall has actually returned to pre-COVID levels and is within 2% of its record high set back in July of 2019, which at that time, the outbound tender rejection index was below 4%, and the outbound tender volume index was 34% below current figures. Furthermore, the average van rate per mile, according to Internet Truck, was hovering around $2 a mile back then. That's a significant decrease from today's more than $3.40 per mile. Even as employment has begun to return to pre-COVID heights, rates have persisted at record levels as unprecedented demand has remained. So much so that bring back our truck transportation employment compared to volumes on the left here and put it next to rejections on the right, you can see that both rejections and volumes grossly outpace pre-pandemic levels. Now, it's important to keep in mind that the overcorrection in capacity from 18 to 19 contributed to a record number of trucking bankruptcies, as there was a quick and drastic shift from a carrier's market to a shipper's market. Now, these figures speak volumes, literally, when considering how to avoid the extreme scale tips and volatility we've experienced over the past several years. Personally, I believe the mainstream headline, 80,000 drivers needed, is a bit aggressive, as that much capacity entering our current environment would only swell our most congested areas and eventually, when restocking and consumer spending did subside, lead to a bloodbath of carrier bankruptcies like in 2019, when over 1,000 trucking companies went belly up. And while I don't believe any one solution will resolve the problems we are currently going through, I do believe that drivers, warehouse employees, and dock workers alike will more than likely have unique solutions to the complications we know about today, and even more importantly, the ones we don't know about. Well, that'll do it for episode 25. However, for more related content, find us at bridgelogisticsinc.com. And until next time, I'm Chris Eads, and thanks for joining me on another episode of We're Not to Miss with Chris.